Okay. Morning, Tracy.
Hey, good morning, Patty. How you doing?
Good. We're going on to the chapter 6, is it?
Yes.
Yeah. So the last time we did the story, Happy met a friend named Roscoe, and he was a mouse.
Yeah, that was he seemed to be a good friend to Happy right away. He was there very assuring and seemed supportive. I think he'll be a good friend.
Yeah. And now I think where we left off is the daughter was talking to Happy, and I think they were doing turnouts. So I wonder if he'll get outside.
Yeah, let's find out. Chapter 6 says a word of advice. Happy looked over at Ivy. She barely came up to his chin, but Happy still trusted her. Ivy wore her hair in braids that bounced up and down as she walked. She gave him a small smile and scratched him behind his ear. Ivy must have known how much a pony liked to be scratched right there. Wearing a halter all the time, it could get itchy. As they reached at the end of the aisle, Happy was surprised to see that the sun was bright and bold. How long had he been in that dreary stall, he wondered. He looked ahead and gasped. He saw a wide green pasture that was almost as big as the one at the shoemaker's stables. It had 3 apple trees and lots of tall grass. The field was surrounded by a tall wooden fence. There were already 5 horses and a pony inside. Happy felt his stomach growl, but he reminded himself not to rush. He walked right next to Ivy. His mom had taught him never to hurry ahead of someone who was leading him. But as soon as Ivy opened the gate and took the rope off Happy's halter, the pony burst with excitement. He ran into the field and gave 3 hoof-kicking bucks right there in a row. Happy reached the far fence and turned around and headed straight back. It felt so good to be outside. He galloped 2 full laps around the field. Just as he was about to buck again, he noticed Cobalt, the sleek black horse, was watching him. Cobalt was standing with 3 other young horses. The group nickered to one another as they pulled at the tufts of grass. They had long legs and thick tails. Cobalt said something, and all 4 horses stopped eating and stared at Happy. What do you
Wonder
think?
what they said.
Happy looked around, feeling a little bit silly. Hadn't they ever seen a pony play before? Something told Happy they hadn't. Did you think that's what they were watching him do?
I wonder.
The horses murmured to one another, and then Cobalt turned back toward Happy. Come here, kid. Happy looked around again. Goldilocks and the handsome chestnut horse named Big Ben were the only other horses in the field, and they were busy eating. So it made sense then. Happy realized that the big black horse was talking to him. Yeah, you, Cobalt called out with a shake of a shiny mane. The new guy. Happy looked back at Goldie and Big Ben. He remembered what Roscoe had told him. Roscoe said that the barn cat thought Happy would be friends with Goldie, but Happy thought that Goldie and Big Ben looked much older than the other horses, and Happy wasn't sure he could just walk up to them. Happy wanted friends his own age. Besides, Goldie and Big Ben hadn't even bothered to say hello to him. Happy stepped forward, trying to hold his nose up high, and he approached Cobalt and the other horses. They were all much taller than he was. They were much taller than Gracie, too. It had been just him and his mother back at the shoemaker's stables. Happy had never talked to a horse before. What's your name? The big black horse asked. Happy. Happy looked up at the horse and thought he saw him smile, but if he did, it was only for a second. I'm Cobalt. This is Reggie, Cobalt said as he looked at the stocky gray horse. And that's Max and Maurice. The other 2 horses were both dark brown, and they looked a lot alike. So what brings you to Big Apple Barn? Did Diane tell you why you're here? Cobalt asked. Happy hesitated. She said I'm going to be a school pony, he answered. Happy tried to sound proud. He remembered what Mrs. Shoemaker and his mom had told him. His job would be very important. A school pony, Cobalt repeated. Hear that, boys? The new guy, Happy, is a school pony. The horses all nodded. Listen, kid, we've been here a while, Cobalt said, lowering his voice. I wonder what he asks him.
I don't know. He doesn't sound very welcoming.
And we've all been school horses, so let me give you some advice. Happy stepped forward. That was nice of Cobalt. He needed advice. Diane had come to pick him up before his mother had been able to give him very much advice about his new home. He would be grateful for someone to tell him how things worked at Big Apple Barn. I bet they'll put Andrea on you to try you out, Cobalt said. His voice was in a whisper. You know her. She's the tallest daughter. Happy nodded his head. Then Cobalt took a step forward so his head was close to Happy's ear. No matter what, Cobalt continued, don't do what she asks you to do. She's a good rider, but she and Diane will be hard on you if you go soft the first time. If you want to have an easy life around here, you have to show them who's boss. Do you think that's good advice, Patty?
I don't think that's very good advice.
Hmm. Go soft? Happy asked, trying to figure out what Cobalt was saying. You know, if you go soft, you're being too good, the dark horse explained. You're making it too easy for the rider. Happy gave Cobalt a long look. He could tell that the horse was smart. Thanks, Cobalt, he replied. That's good advice. He watched as the other horses all went back to eating. Happy really wanted to run some more, but he still had so much energy. But Cobalt had been nice to him, and he didn't want to look rude by playing around. So Happy dropped his head and bit off a chunk of grass near the other horses. It was almost as sweet as the grass back at Mrs. Shoemaker's place, but Happy wasn't thinking about that. He had a lot of other things on his mind. What do you think's on his mind?
I don't know. I wonder if he's trying to think of whether maybe Cobalt's telling him something true to do or not.
Hmm. Yeah. He's had two animals give him some advice. First there was the mouse, and then now Cobalt's giving him some advice. So let's see where this goes in chapter 7 the next time we tune in together.
Sounds good.
Okay. Bye.